is not revealing mysteries to anybody. And God is not speaking by revelation to anybody. We cannot take your experience as validity for doctrine. Your experience is your experience. You were praying and you felt like cold. Maybe something just poured water on top of your neck. I don't know. You felt something, and thank God for how you felt and how many days you fasted. Thank God you came up, you've lost some weight, and we thank God for your life. But I cannot take all of that as validation for anything if it jumps interpretation.
GHPon TV, simply the best. Yes, ebuziami ya akwa basabre famra GHPon TV. Eso ne wani guso a wohwe waso guso a wuti ema no manyina ekọ enkan. Ebuzia asofo akese mienu ade abom ewo media ne so a enya asem kuma kra. Ebuzia yes, ubebusa se eyedan na ekọ so a chese asofo akese mienu Pastor Mensah Otabi any Bishop Duncan Williams edi abom ewo media na so achese aye pinso abusia obeka ya nansen ena Pastor Mensah Otabi ode one edifo omokrum ha achi aye ma achese enya asem kuma kra otomo omo left right center chese enya asem kuma kra ose nyankopon kan hwenkyere obia ensam de ose krom he edifo kra de o chese difo bi eni krom ha ensama papa ya broso okro yi mu de atwo hunwi abusia Bishop Duncan Williams so wa be responding or keep quiet. What do you know about prophecy? What do you know about prophet? What do you know about, what is your knowledge about prophet? Or also so wa be responding ye di munsam ebebrel ne yemfa na asesronkoma GHI College of Health and Education. So aso ye nasna edi dwumadie ebrel DHIC an kancho se bo madian se obeba ye nchen ne ye no atena se ye ahwe mo a ye betimi ede apowo a ebema wonso so ne a wo pese wo ye no nyame befa DHI so ne waboam no wetimi aye DHIC an kancho se school bia wo pese wo kwa eye health about anything about health there bomadian ko DHI ofra wo say wotin wo GHPon TV eso ane wotin ewa ha bomadian kan unya abo GHPon say ha na wotin na abusia oko for discount de pepepe ema no me na akonka emoremfi wo say metin wo GHPon TV eso ntina maba meba abeji mabeji intete na just discount emane nshingu kwaje abusia DHI say anything about health professional courses there bra ombebo ebiem so omosanso eye educational courses bi so ewo hwa no so ye bi ebebo early childhood grade cyber security ane de amanfo bebre eko efiase cyber security and so kwaye bi a obetimi abo wa betimi amwabo intenta afidie no wabo ho ban afi nso so ade a omoye ICT nso owo honom omoye home care program any other programs bebre na omoye no DHI from pen 4 0244 21 31 87 0244 21 31 87 omechiri kwan ewo kumase patase eho na omobutu a omode esum asanteman ene Ghana man omone Amalina Children's Heaven enedi enimhwe wode oduru patase awose wokọ Amalina Children's Heaven uduru ho a omune abrosano omune di enimhwe ka kwa na chentemu ko no mumwo na mayina enkonka bibi ni so a fra wo number na me de ama ho eso abuzia yentie ensama nansen na Bishop Pastor Mensah Otabi no all to edebro edifo a ewukuro yimu ene ensama hodo medical de bia ma o say God is not revealing anything to anybody. Munyade de ne yaso muntoyen. Yenzantie nsembia o de atudwane yenkweti response a Bishop Duncan Williams so wato de aman. Masema kwanu tum na onim hwe fa di sam ho. Kwanu tum. Yɛnkɔ.
My warning to the current Pentecostal charismatic movement, that if we continue as we have done, within 20 years, we will collapse Christianity all over Africa. Now we are booming, but I see an imminent collapse because there is a huge confidence gap between what we promise and what we deliver. We are promising to be what we are not. And we are teaching things that do not make for biblical, theological reasoning and logic. And pretty soon, it will catch up on us. For the next generation of pastors, although God used your fathers in spite of their limitations, you would have to be trained differently. The days of God's called you from the street, you are in the pulpit the next morning, is over. So we don't go about breaking people's marriages because the Lord told us. The Lord told us. I was just, when you came to him, the Lord told me, your grandmother is so and so and so and so. That's the one doing you. You tell a couple and you think you are mending the marriage. I see her, his mother doesn't like you. I see her in the spirit in the night. The mother is coming. Even if that is what you saw, you keep it to yourself. Because you know that the impartation of that knowledge will cause more harm than good. But because you are not professionally trained, you don't know how to handle confidential information. Because if you have, for whatever reason, you have a revelation, somebody is going to die. Why do you tell him? Of what use is that information? I was just praying and I saw 3 coffins. You are in one of them. Because you don't know how to handle confidential information. If you go to the doctor, do you think everything he knows is what he tells you? No. There are some things that are so technical that you can't process it. But he'll tell you what you need to handle. The charismatic church, we see so much power. And maybe that is what all of you see. But I see so much danger. And so much self-destruction. So much dissipation of confidence. More and more the congregation and the public is losing confidence in us. They are losing confidence in men of God, in clergymen. If you call yourself a prophet, it's almost like a title meaning con man. How can we take such a sacred title that Isaiah had, that Jeremiah had, that Ezekiel had, that Daniel had, all of these great people? We have so commoditized it and so cheapened it that now this noble title almost means a con man. Because there's no regulatory body. Everybody picks titles as they want and parade with it. Bishop. When I was growing up, if somebody was a bishop, we believed that they were a noble person in the clergy. If we don't define who a prophet is properly from the New Testament, then all kinds of charlatans, crooks, psychics, necromancers, and all kinds of assorted, all kinds of people. What it does is that they mix it up and they destroy the good ones. They destroy the good ones. So it has to be defined and the boundaries have to be created. So you don't just get up and call yourself something. There is no vocation in the world where you get up and call yourself it. Tell me which vocation in the world that you get up and call yourself it. Somebody starts a church, has a few cockroaches and lizards roaming in the classroom. He puts down chairs for them, and he says, I'm an apostle. Apostle? Do you know how? Do you know what an apostle is? But because there's no definition, people just get up and assign these things to themselves and allude to themselves. And so what happens is the right thing gets destroyed. The foundations are destroyed. The people who must be heard are no longer heard because the quacks have saturated the market. And I have said it, and I'll say it without any shadow of doubt, based on my knowledge of the scriptures, based on my knowledge of church history, which I have extensive knowledge of, based on my theological reasoning, based on my experiential observation, that about 95% of people who call themselves prophets in Ghana are quacks. Including some of you in this room who are calling yourself that. And I say this with the pure love of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm not saying this to belittle you. I'm saying if you're not a doctor, don't call yourself doctor. If you're a lab technician, just say I'm a lab technician. One day I'll be a doctor. But don't call yourself what you are not. And don't think that by calling yourself something you are. Because if you are not a doctor, and you call yourself a doctor, and you're walking around the hospital, and somebody's going to the theater, and they say, come along and do the theater. You'll be under pressure to do a surgery. And you cut somebody. And he says, I have a problem with my spleen. And then you cut something else. And then leave scissors and everything inside the stomach. Kill somebody's child. You kill somebody's child. And there are people ruining families, ruining people's lives, destroying people because they have taken a title upon themselves and are forced to do something. Sometimes by reading Facebook notes, sometimes by collecting information, sometimes by doing just nice psychology on people. God uses people, but there has to be a system by which we do things. Because if we don't do that, we ruin everything. We ruin everything. Then we create such a scandal and mistrust for everybody who calls himself a clergyman in Ghana. Eventually they say we are all crooks. We are all charlatans. Because that is what happens. If a few doctors make mistakes, we say all these doctors are charlatans. Although some people went to medical school and went to do specialization, but the market has been crowded and flooded by bad practitioners. So I believe that we have to do ourselves surgery. And if charismatics don't do it, I will do it. I hope you get me. And I won't stop today, and I won't stop tomorrow. And I'm going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm going to point from the scriptures. And I'm going to teach from church history. And I'm going to teach from the history of the Pentecostal church and the charismatic movement because I have studied it. And I'm going to use it. And I'm going to help all of us to cure. I hope you get me. I'm going to help all of us to cure so that we can stand up and say, this is a wholesome church. Things are done well. As Paul told the Corinthian church, let everything be done in order. There's orderliness in the operation of the gifts of the Spirit. There's orderliness in the operation of the supernatural. The supernatural must not be chaotic. It's not a free-for-all thing. Paul says when you go to church and you prophesy, people must sit and judge it. That's what Paul said. You must judge it. That means that there should be other people listening and saying, point one. Why did you tell the woman when I was praying, I saw you were wearing red underwear? Yeah, wrong. That's right. Somebody must mark it and say wrong. Why did you call the person in front and describe their sickness so that the person, even after he's healed, has a stigma? Why? So others are judging and say, brother, the word was good, but it was poorly delivered. And it didn't affirm human dignity. It destroyed the value of a human being. That's how you judge.
Okay, Abuzia. Wait, and then some be a kick videos in the baby. Anne, cause also nyai. Or so a beb boa, mamma, say, Yamiakasa or yodo. And no, and a bishop, Duncan Williamson, Zwaba Bonte say, when who's a man for be air attack the prophetic ministry, no? Nadia Bakwa nipa omuhuni say, El fivefold ministry and our prophet and so ho. Nanya wo teteno ne we di fo bone wo ho. Enti enne se bi be frem that doesn't mean say nyame da so nkasa. Nyame da so kasa na mom. Aifo na bebre wom. Enti mo amo attack no. You have no knowledge about prophetic. And wona wo so kwa jeje wo be pruni na wabo omade atwitwa ho prophetic ministry watwitwa ho omo nye na omo ye ne ade we ye free ho wunim de e wo saa ministry no ho enesen osi ye wo bi ho ye teacher wo hwe pastor Mensah Otabi ono ni ministry ye teacher o kire nti saa kei ni saa charismatic ne saa ahode ade na de ogina ho na wa kire no wate ase wa hwere ko fie papa say mo fa ne mra men tunofo abusia.
Prophets are relevant in the New Testament church, and you are not wiser than Jesus. You are not a better teacher than Jesus. Jesus gave us fivefold ministry gift. Look at them: apostles,
and some prophets,
plural;
some evangelists,
plural;
and some
pastors, plural;
and teachers,
plural. Now look at the reason why he gave them to us. Verse 12.
For the perfecting of the saints.
For the perfecting of the saints.
For the work of the ministry.
For the work of the ministry.
For the edifying of the body of Christ.
For the edifying. So hear me. No local church can come of age and to the perfection of the saints and equip the saints for the work of the ministry without this fivefold ministry gift. So if your pastor is a teacher, all you are getting is one-way meal. Fufu every day. Fufu. Different kinds of fufu, but it's fufu. And if your pastor is an evangelist, all you are getting is revival. You are always being revived. If it's a pastor, all you are getting is comfort and care. If it's an apostle, all you are getting is moving you to the nation. If it's a prophet, all he does is, the Lord opened my eyes and I saw. So me, I have issues with pastors and leaders of churches who nobody preaches in their pulpit. Nobody even stands in their pulpit. They are the only voice of God. They are apostles, prophet, teacher, evangelist, and pastor. They are fivefold ministry in one. And I've heard people say that, and I just look at you and I just ignore you. Ignorance. Don't own a church. When people say, well, my members, you don't have members. Nobody is our member. They are the flock of God. They are the redeemer of the Lord. Do you know, when I came here over 30 years ago from this big mall here, ShopRite, to Sakumono Junction, there was no church here. Do you know how many charismatic churches we have on the Spintex Road? Over 600. East Legon, over 500. Everyone, when you go, you see a member of Action there. You see my converts there. Somebody called me the other day, say, Papa, Ochunin, what is this Ochunin? Hey, Papa, you've worked too. And I said, what is the problem? He said, Papa, everywhere I go, I meet Action members there. And they are all in leadership. She said, I went somewhere outside London and I met Action members there in leadership. Then he said, I went to Brooklyn Temple in New York. The usher was from Action. The guy playing the organ was from Action. He said, Papa, your people are everywhere. And I said, right now is not the time to talk. But when the master comes, then we will know who went. Are you hearing me, somebody? Yeah. I don't fight and I don't argue. You have no idea how many people have divided this church. Broken away, set up their church, carried people with them, and some of the people, they go, they come back, some are backslided. I don't say anything. You know why? Because there are more fishes in the sea than what has been taken out. Are you hearing me? So I tell my bishop, instead of worrying about those who have gone, let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. As long as they are in the Lord, it's fine. But you see the danger, let me tell you, I've seen some interesting thing. And if God plants you in this house, make sure you don't uproot yourself. Because I've seen people who were planted in this house. I dealt with a situation recently, and the guy, he's been in this house for over 30 years. He said, Papa, I thank God that I never left Action. That's what he told me. And I said, why? He said, Papa, if I had left Action, I would have been dead. Because he was dealing with a situation, and he told me, and he was taking a certain decision. I said, no, don't go that way. And I told him what to do. And I said, take this number, call that guy, tell him I gave you the number, tell him Archbishop gave you the number. He flew there and he's free. Free. Cancer free. And he said, Papa, I thank God for you. Because, and you see, God knows why he put you in some places. God knows why you are here. You may not understand, but the day will come when you will understand why you are here. So don't let anything offend you, provoke you. You get angry, you get offended, and you leave. And hear me, don't say, me, I came to church, I want peace, and all these church people, look at how church people are. You are also like church people. Dukadaya, you are also like them. Satan also goes to church. And the place that he comes to drive you out is the church. Because he knows this is where your protection is. So if he can cause you to be hurt and offended and leave the church, he has the advantage.
Abuzia, or say, Eddie Fuyano, Yaminim senti crow the can. Lejuma. One fair teacher for near soft one or the D for can. Or say, ye won't call for baby, or more etia so dem abon sam so de nkofo egu a omo bebe yi nyame mani bdap nti se obi ye difo na so onye na de heye na se wo hu ne normal basbasa enkasa we de o say bonsam na asokra si adan kro no asokra ba asore bonsam no no ba asore because omom ti abonte de omunim se ne de adada na momu amusim afiri ne nsa na amokọ no na amusim mo kwanya me ho no ono so bepe kwan bi so a obepe nkofo omuso beguru wo kọ no wa hwa wakoto bonsam de enimu na ono so ode waye enti abuzia na chasa de ekọ no wotimu se mpenfo mienu ina wo point e wo dia omu making mu na mom the differences okase papa Duncan Williams kasem bi o say ade bi obi ho ye teacher obecheche one pulpit nkwa no prophetic ministry no apostolic ministry ne sa no mani bi nkoso e basa members n be one way I was say why no when you invite ubi a ususu say okuta hom papa ne odi ye adwuma no wa hwe ne ministry the way city when you invite not naba na aboa na we dia baba sa kakra na ye nyina ka bom na ma adwuma no akonkan because obi dia ye nkyerɛkyerɛ nko a nkyerɛkyerɛ nko a ne nye enough ane nkyerɛkyerɛ nko a enye enough ɛsɛ to say bia ye blending kakra se na ebe ya ebeboa Onyankopon na adwuma no ebekọ enkan nti dia mpenfo mienu kan no ane o say prophet ministry no you can untimi nkase enne nyame nkase obi aho nyame gusu kasa just that bonsam so edibi afra na wo be ya dan na watimi ahu se we na ye papa we nya papa ti mame minyi we mfro na minyi fa we nhyɛ ho eno papa da kan William Mensah Otabi ebe ya den nti yenya mani na mbom nyini ne twabre ni dra onyame ankasa obeyi ni die wom abusua emishra akra
Ghana TV.